All right, folks, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting of December 3rd, 2015 to order. Thank you. Please take the roll call.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Here.
Council members Achara, Long,
Here.
Shephaka,
Here.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Here. Everybody please rise for a pledge of allegiance and then please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer thereafter. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The notice requirement of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk, December 30, 2014. There are two emergency exits on the wall, one to my right, which will take you out to the front parking lot, and one to my left, take you out to the rear. If you have a cell phone, now's a good time to turn it off. If you need to make a call or a text, anything, kindly go on outside to the hallway and chatter away if you need to. Before we get started, we have a couple of ceremonies to do. I think before I do the ceremony, I just want to get a quick report, if you don't mind, from the council members. Bill, do you have anything?
Just very quickly, I want to thank Captain Resitar for his many years of service to the community and wish him well in his retirement.
Great, thank you. Donna?
Just to remind everybody that at 4:30 Sunday, we have our tree lighting. Santa Claus will be there. We'll have hot chocolate and cookies and a bonfire. And then at 6 o'clock here in front of Town Hall, we will have the menorah lighting. And we'll have, I can't think of what kind of treats that we're having, but we'll have...
Kosher treats, but it'll be nice.
Latkes and whatever else. And we'll also be having live, or
Music.
DJ here also, playing,
Festive tunes.
yes. Perfect, thanks.
Rich, anything for us?
Yes, Mayor, I do. My report tonight involves paying homage to two individuals who recently passed away, but who in their lifetimes made considerable contributions to Ocean Township in general and to Ocean School District in particular. The first individual was Mrs. Rose Latke. Mrs. Latke was a mother of 7 children, and she was one of the first female Ocean Township School Board members, serving for 6 years during a time when males dominated most school boards in the state of New Jersey. In addition, she was later on an attendance officer in the district. I salute Mrs. Latke's dedication and her pioneering work for the school district. The other individual that we recently lost was Mr. William Gray, a math teacher and a coach for decades in Ocean Township. As one of his students in the 8th grade at the Dow Avenue School, I can attest to his mathematics expertise and his terrific sense of humor. If he could deal with a kid like me, he had to have a sense of humor. He was a wonderful teacher and an equally wonderful man, and I salute him for his fine teaching and coaching skills. So I wanted those two persons in particular to be remembered by our township tonight. That's my report, Mayor.
Thanks, Rich. Yeah, great people. Thank you. Andrew? Marty?
I would just like to congratulate Mike Resitar as well, and ask Donna, is latkes with sour cream or applesauce?
Probably applesauce, because I like applesauce.
I really like sour cream. And I'd like to thank Robert Sheriff for the musical instrument.
Thank you. In the meantime, I'll just make an announcement that Ocean Township is officially opting out of the tax assessment program. We will revisit at a later time if it comes back, but at this time we're opting out. Doesn't mean we're not going to have a reevaluation, which we're overdue for, but the tax assessment program, the Monmouth County program, we're opting out of that one. Again, congratulations to Mike Resitar. Many years of great service here. He's a great captain and a great officer right on through. And he made a pretty good snack over at the Beach Club too. So I would mention that. His prices were a little high. So, then he's still trying to get our other council member. We might have to.
Roberts Vinny, are you on?
I am.
Okay.
We're going
We have Councilman Achara on the phone.
We're going down for presentation, Rob, so stay silent, please. Okay, at this time, we're going to come on down. We have a swearing in to do of a new sergeant. And then we also have some awards for our veterans. We'll call them up after. Okay, at this time, we're going to call up our chief to come on up. He's going to give us a little rundown on our new sergeant, right?
Correct. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. It's been a while since we've been here for an actual promotion. We haven't had a promotion since fall 2013, so I'm very pleased to be here tonight and have this ceremony conducted. Matt Jackwitz, who became a patrol officer in January 2006, is here tonight to be sworn in as our new sergeant. Matt started the department, as I said, in 2006, was assigned to the Patrol Bureau for 3 years. In January of 2009, he was assigned to the Detective Bureau, where he worked as our juvenile officer, our DARE officer, and more importantly, our Face of Ocean Township, the crime prevention officer, which some of you probably know him for. Matt did a tremendous job as crime prevention officer, always received a lot of praise and appreciation for his time, and believe me, he did face some tough crowds, and he handled himself well. At this time, Matt's going to step up, and he's now assigned to the Patrol Bureau as a squad sergeant. I'm very proud to have him aboard. I know he's going to be a great asset to my management team. Matt, want to come on up?
All right. Hey, Matt, you have somebody going to hold the Bible for you? Stacy, here you go, Stacy, hold that. Okay, raise your right hand, press the left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Matthew Jackwitz,
I, Matthew Jackwitz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true
that I will bear true
faith
faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the position of sergeant
of the position of sergeant
for the Township of Ocean Police
for the Township of Ocean Police
Department,
Department,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Sergeant. On your time here with us on Ocean and how much you loved it and what a great chief you had and mentor.
That's easy to speak about, having a great chief. I'd just like to say how grateful I am for the opportunity. I look forward to serving the town in this new capacity, and probably wouldn't be much of a public speaking engagement if I didn't say make sure everybody's locking your doors and keeping your lights on. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Rich, you want to come on the other side? All right, great. Great, thank you again, Chief, thank you. Good, thanks, Matt, good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. At this time, we have some very special people with us here tonight. We have our veterans. And so we started this Veterans Day. We have our ceremony now. We're inviting our veterans back the month of November and December. We'd like to honor them and thank them for their service, because what they've done was outstanding. We really appreciate it. So if anybody had an opportunity to watch the last show we had, was out, there for the last 2 weeks, and you saw some of the veterans that came up. We had a lot of World War II guys here, and they had fascinating stories. And just listening to them, and the ones that they could remember were really great. So we really enjoyed it, so we enjoyed having them. So tonight we're going to continue that. We have some Korean veterans with us tonight, and we also have a Vietnam veteran here as well. So I'm going to call these guys up in no particular order. We'll go by looks first. Erwin Gurikoff. Mr. Gurikoff, come on up. He's better known as Mr. G. Come on over this way, Mr. G, because we're going to do a little talk show here for you. So, without embarrassing you, first of all, so tell us about your service to your country. Really, thank you for it, by the way, but tell us how it all started.
I was going to college and I had a deferment, and I met some people I know that served. And I said, this is wrong. I went down to the draft, and I says, take me. He says, you crazy? You got 4 years now. So I went in as a voluntary draft because I didn't want to spend 3 years to join. And then I ended up in Korea. I was a combat medic attached to specialized combat engineers, which I didn't know anything about until I got there. My obligation was to take care of them, and they were the support of the infantry. So we did many things, and 100 stories, from laying out minefields, picking them up, taking them barbed wires. When the shells came in, we had to take care of them because they were all over. The combat engineers were part of the infantry in the sense that they did the work like other people, but their job was engineering. And that was my, so to speak, obligation was to take care of that. The only thing I want to say is I should pay the Army for what they taught me and gave me as an example. I think we'll all be scared that if someone threatens your life. And as a combat medic, I realized in my young years that if I get scared, they'll know it. So in order for me to do the right thing, I had to overcome it. It wasn't easy, but I did, and I felt good about it because they depended on me, and I should pay the Army the money they gave me.
Lessons well learned, right? Awesome. Well, that's great service. Also says here, you're being modest here, that you had 2 Bronze Stars. Is that right? Tell us about that. How'd that happen?
Well, the Chinese weren't all what you would call cooperative. They would fire, so to speak, mortars or whatever before they would attack. So we had different, those were 2 specific battles. But what it was is the engineers, we had to leave because a lot of infantry got what we call support. And in turn, we were in a way because what we had to do while we were there was building the bunkers, and putting out the barbed wire, whatever it was, fixing them. We were not in a way, but basically they needed more infantry. And so we left because you have to understand the mountains were so high, everything was trenches in Korea. And I'll tell you a real bad story. Somebody got hurt, wounded, one of our engineers. Big fella that we carried him down the trench, and I laid him out because the mountain was so high, the Jeep would come only halfway because if you go this way, you can't go this way. So you carried down in the trench, put him in a Jeep, and I said to the fellow,
Just like a mass shooting.
prior, in the beginning, not the end. What happened was, I said, where are you taking him? He said, I don't know. He said, a repo depot in the service means you have some repo depot and supplies, or your repo depot for personnel. So he said, it's a medical repo depot. I said, what the hell was that? And he said, well, they take care of something. They do this, they do that. But the guys that made me bad were those that would bleed, because that would kill you first. So what happened was, he said, they had this airplane with a whirlwind, and he said, they had 2 plastic tubes, and they locked them in. I said, oh, man. Okay. He says, he fixed them the best I could. He had a shrapnel, unfortunately, in his face. It bleeds easy. So I said, listen, I did the best. You got to take him to a doctor. So he left, forgot all about it, went back up, whatever it was. Years later, I'm home. I turned on the television, and I'm laughing. Why? I saw the helicopters, which he didn't know the name. He knew it was a plane with a helicopter, a whirlwind, and he knew they had 2 plastic tubes. He didn't know. So I said, that time they didn't know the word helicopter. They were coming in to mash. but we all learn from each other.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Thank you for your service, Mr. G. You're awesome. You came from Asbury Park and it gets over and now next thing you know, you're in Korea. And you served us honorably. We really appreciate that. So we have a little something for you. Like that for you. Mrs. Farrell Gurkoff, on behalf of the mayor and the council, we really appreciate your service and thank you so much for that. Good job. All right. Thank you again. All right. Told you the stories were great, right? Worth what? Sam Warren, is Sam here? We haven't called Sam at the last meeting. Oh, great, Mr. Warren, come on up. Mr. Warren, pleasure. Right over here, sir, if you don't mind. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to have you. So, Mr. Warren, you're a WW2 veteran. That's outstanding. So, care to tell us a little bit about your service?
February 25th, 1942, I promised to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I was then Private Sam Warren. I had 3 months of basic training, infantry training in Alabama, shipped up to Pine Camp, New York, near the Canadian border for the 4th Armored Division. Based upon my training and experience, I was assigned to division headquarters, finance section, where they processed the division payroll for the 15,000 officers and men. In October, we went down to Tennessee for Tennessee maneuvers, in January to West Coast to for desert maneuvers, and then in June to Camp Bowie, Texas. And then December 43, we shipped out to England, and we were in England from January to July 13th, when we boarded our LST and crossed the channel and arrived in Normandy on Bastille Day, July 14th. We set up shop about 5 miles or so inside Normandy. And on the 25th, the Air Force came over, bombed the German lines, and we broke out of the hedgerows and learned that we're now a major element of Patton's Third Army. Well, that summer we headed east, and it was pretty fast going until we reached the French-German border. The supplies, our equipment badly needed maintenance. And so we stayed there until the 17th of December. 10 o'clock at night, we were told to load up. We thought we were going to continue on east, but no, we were headed northwest. We heard that the Germans had launched an offensive through the Ardennes, which was later called the Battle of the Bulge. And the town of Bastogne was in very bad shape. 101st was asked to surrender by the Germans. They refused. They remember the general anyway, he said that he felt, when he asked to surrender, he said nuts. And we made the 120 miles that night. In the morning we got up there. There was a thick fog on the ground, 8 inches of snow. besides the handicaps, Colonel, I remember his name as well, but seniors, anyway. Senior moment? Senior moment.
You're entitled to it, you earned it.
Anyway, he broke through with the 37th Tank Battalion, assisted with the artillery, and they broke the siege of Bastogne. And on July 25th, the skies cleared, the sun came out, and the Air Force went to work on the Germans, and they put them in retreat. And then about 2 weeks later, we headed on back east through Belgium, Luxembourg, across the Siegfried Line on into Germany. When we got to the Rhine River, which is about a mile across, the engineers did a fabulous job of floating these pontoons, anchoring them, putting steel treads over them, and we drove over it. When we got to the middle of the river, I saw how fast that current was. I knew if any of those pontoons went, you would never have a chance. Anyway, we reached, we got across the Rhine, our forward elements came across the first concentration camp, which was called Ordruff. Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, Bradley, and Patton visited the place. Story is that all blood and guts, as tough as he was, when he saw the degradation there, he lost his breakfast that morning. My memory of the place has faded over the years, but this I'll never forget. An excavation of about 20 feet across, 50 to 75 feet long, and God knows how deep it was. And there, crammed to the top, but I'll spare you the description of what was in there. Anyway, we continued on through Germany, and at the end of the war, we were in Czechoslovakia. And the heads of government got together, and they wanted to keep us from encroaching on the Russians, so we pulled back into Germany. And we're there as Army of Occupation until I accumulated enough points, and I was discharged Fort Monmouth, November 13, 45. Proud to have served, glad to be in a uniform, and very happy to be home.
Third Army, the stuff movies are made of, right? Well, we're honored to have had you serve for us. We really appreciate that. We want to thank you for your service. So we have a little something for you, sir. And it cites the battles and whatnot that you've done for us. So thank you so much on behalf of the mayor and council. Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. I promised wonderful stories and they delivered. I tell you, it doesn't get any better than that. All right, we're moving back to the Korean War. We have a guy affectionately known as Frank the Tank. Mr. Partouche, Frank Partouche, come on up. His escort tonight is Debbie. Right over here. I love your shirt. Great. Stand over here. Mr. Bartus, you had a pretty cool job.
Yeah,
You were a tank mechanic.
tank mechanic, tanks and amtrak.
So amphibious tanks, right?
They did make the amphibious tank. It was called the LPA-5, where they had a 75 back howitzer on the top of the amphibious tank. But then I said they had the ones with water, right? Then the light tanks, the M4A3, the light tanks, you know. Then I was in Korea too long, but then they sent me back, and they made me an instructor in a tank mechanic school.
They like what you did so much over there, that you became the instructor.
He instructed in technical.
Wouldn't let you go.
So, yeah, one day, I was taking tracks off of a tank, and a tech sergeant said to me, he said he wanted me to watch his students. I said, I can't do that, we're taking tracks off a tank, right? He said, I told you to do it, right? And I said, I ain't doing it, so next day I was a corporal.
That was awesome. That's pretty good. So Frank the tank mechanic, that was awesome. So career, of course, right? Enlisted man or?
I was 17, I was born over here in Hog Swamp.
Yeah, 82-year resident, that's quite amazing.
Westfield, they called it. When I was born there, we called it Hog Swamp.
Yeah, I've seen the name on old deeds, yes.
Yeah, so,
What street was that?
Brookside Avenue, oh, cool. Yeah, I was born over there on Brookside, and then, 17, I joined the Marines. And then we was out there and, we got leave, they give us leave, and go home for Christmas. So the guy sold us airplane tickets, didn't have no airplanes. So we went down, they put us up in a hotel down in Hollywood, Hollywood Pantages Hotel. And Leo Gorski and all the,
Big show.
they all went down there, entertained us. Then I went back, then I got back, and then they sent me to Korea, and I wasn't there too long. Then I
Came back and was discharged there after?
after I got to be a corporal.
That's a great story, that's awesome. So you were in there actually till 59, were you?
Well, I was in the reserve.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, it's a long time, 51 to 59.
I was in 3 years, but they put me in the reserve, and I got out, I was in the reserve, so I got out 15 years.
Great. Well,
We discharged in 15 years.
we appreciate your service, Mr. Partouche, and we really thank you for that. That's a great story. Really, it is.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of the mayor and council, I want to present you with that.
Thank you.
Got them all, you filled the room up. That's great. Well, thank you again, Mr. Partouche, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Good job. Yeah,
Thanks for your
great
service.
seeing you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Devin.
I have a mini stroke, so I can't see too.
All right, again, it's fun-filled night, great stories. I love this stuff. It's like rolling back to history, really. You know, you watch these movies and you see it all the time, but to have the guys here that actually participated in a lot of these battles or in those situations, just, to me, it's fascinating. All right, our next guy we have up, Joe DiMarcantonio. Joe, come on up. Another Korean vet. Now, Joe is good. I didn't really pick the lineup in any particular order, Joe, and you were really upfront about it. You put right on your sheet, no battles. So, doesn't mean there's no stories. Now, come on, Joe, there's got to be a story. So, well, tell us about your service. So, Navy?
Navy,
Enlisted,
enlisted at 18, did 4 years during the Korean War. Did basic training and everything. Trained to be a medic in the Navy.
served on a destroyer, right?
Destroyer tender. And we was only a year on the ship. Other 3 years was on base, in the hospital, working in the hospital.
On the ship, were you out to sea on the ship?
Yeah, yeah.
For a year?
For a year, yeah.
That must have been rough, huh?
They went to the Mediterranean, that wasn't bad.
Did you
Never did Korea.
did you dock anywhere?
Yeah, well, all the Med, France, Greece, Turkey.
So you were on a little like a vacation.
Italy, yeah.
That's over there in Korea.
That's why I said no more stories.
It's still a good story. I think there are other stories about going to port, but we don't want to embarrass your family. But that's great, Joe. That's awesome.
It was a good time. Yeah.
Didn't trade it for anything, right?
Nope.
It was like a college education.
Right. That's right. Wasn't going to college, so that was my college, my learning.
Well, we thank you for your service, it's outstanding, especially enlisted men, that's something else as well. So we have a little something for you, for recognizing you for what you've done for us in the Korean War. So,
Thank you.
okay, thanks, good. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thanks for your
Thank
service.
you, John. Billy, you want it? Thank you. Oh, okay.
Okay. The next guy up, again, we have another Korean War vet, Mr. Donald Geiger,
That's right, they
a
should.
resident voucher checker. It doesn't say here that you are in requisitions or anything, because I would have expected something like that from you, I don't know. I got kind of,
That's a long story.
we're gonna hear it, but Don, tell us about your service.
First of all, it wasn't active combat. Let me make that clear.
You
Secondly,
still serve.
yeah, secondly though, I want to emphasize, I can't hold a candle to the previous awardees. Went in '64, because I was trying to go to college, working 3 jobs. That wasn't working too well. GI Bill looked good, so I got promoted, and after a while I said, oh, maybe I'll just hang in there. Did go to Korea, had the pleasure of taking an all-expense paid cruise, 18 days on the last Liberty ship to go anywhere. That was fun. Nice. And then all-expense paid trip to Germany, which was awesome, loved it, took every advantage we could, despite the fact bottom line was running around, and we went a quick 4-day, 3-night to Switzerland, because my wife's mom treated us, and got stopped by the Police police with their submachine guns and stuff like this, because they weren't used to seeing GI plates at that time of the morning, because it was a very early trade. Served at Fort Monmouth, that's where I retired out of, both at CECOM and prior to that at the chaplain school, which was a real blessing for us as a family. So I put 22 years in, and as I laid claim to fame as a Chairborne Ranger, a Remington Raider. Because I listed was first personnel, but because I was top one class, we're going to send you to finance school. So that's one.
That makes perfect sense. Inside jokes. Don comes up and if you stick around the meeting, he's going to question every penny on that voucher list. You might miss the big ones, like the $8 million payment to the school, but everything else for $1.37, he'll question.
That's right. And anything over $12 for food for prisoners.
Got something about that. But Don, so quite a few awards here, right?
Yes.
The Army Achievement Award Medal, you have the Army Commendation Award, Overseas Service Ribbon, Military Service Medal, etc. Then you served 65, 66 during the ceasefire?
Basically a truce.
During the truth. Okay.
That's about it.
Awesome.
They're still shooting.
Yeah,
A little bit.
I guess that started in 58. Awesome, Doug. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Awesome.
Okay, I appreciate that. Well, the iron chaplain, or chaplain. Okay. Oh, sometimes, you know, those do things right. Okay.
Contestant number 3, you can have this. We're going to put up all you guys up for a good shot in a moment, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, Vietnam War. We have Tom Milmo. Tommy, come on up. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot with the stories, please. That just comes out of these guys sometimes. But so you served Seabees, right? 73 to 76, Navy Seabees. So tell us about your service. Enlisted.
Everybody's gonna like this. Now, we heard from some Marines, some Army, one Navy guy. Well, I'm the other Navy guy, but I'm the can-do outfit. I was in college down in Florida. I was taking mortuary science, And when I came up here at 72, come home for Christmas, I got my draft notice. Now, if you notice, 72 was the last draft call. And it's the only lottery I ever won. The cutoff number was 95, my number was 93. And I tell everybody that, and everybody doesn't believe me. I still have my number, believe me. 93 was my number. So I went to the Army, and I told them I was taking veterinary science in college, and they were gonna make me an officer. They wanted to send me over to Vietnam and Saigon to be an embalmer over there. So I talked to a couple guys, and I said, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So I ended up joining the Navy. I joined the Navy in 73, January. Went to Orlando, Florida. The boot camp's not there anymore, so don't go down. It was a very nice duty. Then I got shipped out to California, cross-rated into the Seabees. They were going to put me in the hull of a boat as a fireman, but I didn't do it. I went in the Seabees and went to Gulfport, Mississippi, and was shipped out with MCB 133. Our first duty station was Subic Bay, QB Point, the Philippines. Now, on these forms, there's a lot of things that they asked you for as far as your awards and everything. My combat over there was an ambush. We were ambushed on a jungle road, 1974, and nobody even knew it. My mother knew it because it was on Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, and Channel 7. She thought I was dead because I was supposed to be driving the Jeep. My officers were all killed. We had a captain, a commander, and a lieutenant. I told the lieutenant, don't go, it's a hot zone, and he went because he was right out of college, and he thought who he was. He was a lieutenant, I was E4. So I was a petty officer, and he had the brass, and I had the little. But I'm going to tell you something. It was a shocker, and I know some of these guys will tell you stories of what combat looks like, but it was a shocker. We got ambushed by what they call the Hucks. It was a New People's Army, and they're still there today. They're actually a terrorist group. They were trained in Lebanon, and they were good. They're good fighters. Fast in the jungle, can move. I think they timed them 2.5 or 4 minutes a mile in the jungle. That's pretty quick. They knew the way around the jungle. So when you think about the Seabees, we're a good bunch of guys. We're like the construction Army engineers, but we go out in the jungle with the Marines, the SEALs, UDTs. We land with them, and we go out with them. We're trained combat. I'm qualified M60 machine gun, and there were the two. M60 machine gun was the one I liked because it was belt fed, and I had a good time with it. But I had a good time in the service. I was proud, and I'm going to ask everybody here, and I'm sure these vets will back me, please take care of these kids coming home now. I'm telling you, please, because I helped one guy right here in Elberon. I saved him from Long Branch because he had a weapon. He was a Marine, and we got him help, but he eventually took his own life. So please, if you know anybody, you can, listen, I'm 431 West Lincoln Avenue. I got an American flag on my porch, and I got a CB flag. You knock on my door, if you know a vet, you let me know. But and it just let you know too, I'm a commander, the Navy Seabees Veterans of America right here in Jersey. So I don't forget, and most of these guys don't forget either. If you can help us, help us to help them, please help us.
The mayor and council want to honor you with this certificate, and thank you again, it's awesome. Great, thank you, Tom. Outstanding.
One more thing. These guys are all taking your pictures. Well, the CBs are real famous for this. These guys are taking pictures. I just came home tonight with a slide from when I came home. I was out in California. Guess who it was? No. Rocky II movie, I'm shaking hands with Sylvester Stallone in the ring. And I have a copy at the house, I don't have it with me, but I was there for the movie when they did it.
Another good story, see?
Yeah, he tells the story, but he didn't bring it.
We had on our phones.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else, Mr. Stavinsky, is he here? Bill? Bill, come on up. Great. We missed you at the last meeting. Vietnam War vet also, right?
Yes, sir.
Winding down with the Vietnam War. All right, Bill, so tell us about your service here, enlisted, drafted.
Okay, I guess it was February 1968. I got a letter from the president. Greetings. So I got drafted. Went to Fort Dix, then made my way over to Vietnam, through McGuire Air Force Base, Anchorage, Alaska, Osaka, Japan, and then Vietnam. Spent my 1 year over there, that was it. Ran field phone lines through the rice paddies and the jungle swamps to CP units.
Can do.
And lived with jungle rot the whole year, ducked a lot. No wounds, just got Agent Orange. That's about it. After my
That's
year,
it?
I got
That's
home,
enough.
and that was it. That's it. I didn't, no wounds.
So Air Force were you?
United States Army.
Oh, Army.
I remember when I got drafted, they put us in Newark. And they said, anybody want to join Marines? There was like 20 of us at a big table. Nobody went like that. And then finally they'd come by and they put their hand on your shoulder. And everybody like kind of, oh God, no. So they picked a couple guys and left. Then they said, anybody been in the Navy? Everybody's in.
Nobody won that ship.
You're only in for 2 years when you're drafted, so, you know, if you can take the Navy. But I was in Vietnam 1 year. I got out 5 months early out. So I was only in, whatever that makes, 17 months.
Outstanding.
And the worst part was coming home.
Was there a lot of anti-war folks out on the streets when you came home and throwing stuff at you? Was it as bad as they saw on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to be tough. I'm sure people didn't understand. They just thought the worst, I'm sure, of you guys. And you really, like you said, you're drafted. You got a letter from your president, you responded, you did it. And we're very proud of you for that. So don't ever let anybody forget that. I mean, you know, hold your head up high.
We're saving the country.
And one of the worst times, you know, that was terrible. But we want to thank you for that, Bill. That was awesome, your service. It's a great story. Thank you. Thank you so much for your service. We're going to ask all the veterans to come on up, and their families are welcome to come up too. We'll do a big group shot. Thanks. There we go.
You're not going anywhere now.
And families as well, you want to get in the photo? Come on
Give me your
up.
phone.
Might have to have a few people. Come on, AJ. Get up here.
I'm following up.
Well, you're going to take the picture, right? AJ?
Yeah, like literally ran here sweating.
Yeah, we're going to try to. Come on up.
Okay.
The young ones might have to take a knee.
Young one.
We're not the young ones.
You could go get in the picture with Poppy if you want.
Yeah, good. Any other family members wish to get in? Nancy, no? You're so wrong. Yes. Come on in.
Representing the Rangers, the Ranger fan.
You can block us out.
She's full. Take a smile. Don't like a nice smile, not like
Okay, good.
Thank you again, veterans and family. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're going to take a short recess, folks, so give you a chance to go home and catch up on Jeopardy. Okay, back in session.
See you guys.
All right, folks. The purpose of this public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions and vouchers that appear on this agenda. And it's not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. If anybody has anything to the resolutions and vouchers, come on up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Don Geiger, please.
Don Geiger, 1108 Grassmere Avenue. Actually, the very first thing, and what is the NJSLOM conference?
League of Municipalities.
Okay, I'm just curious, I'm not trying to poke at anyone. Why is there a difference between the hotel fees for different individuals who attended?
Some people stayed one night, other people stayed two.
Uh-huh. And someone must have raided the minibar.
No, it wasn't that. I wish it was. There was not one.
Okay. Anyway, about 5 down, what is the POMCA free class?
That's for someone who's taking classes to be a court administrator.
Okay. Well, I know that. I'll see that one. And that's another hotel. And what's the, looks like IIMC Region 2 Conference?
It is Mr. Burglary, the Institute of Municipal, International Institute.
International.
We have an international clerk in our presence.
Oh. And still first page, staff training, CS.
It's community services.
Okay. Now, if I'm off base on this one, let me know. Because I see our friendly realty appraisal company. Now, this was for work they're doing before we opted out of.
Correct, right.
Okay. Now, are they, and if this is out, let me know. I'll ask you later on.
No.
Are they been awarded a contract to do the appraisals?
Well, okay, Andrew can answer. I mean, early on they were opting out of the program, but Andrew can.
We're, first of all, the added assessments, that's something that we do annually.
Okay.
Because properties come on the tax rolls after the tax book has been closed. They go out and do the added assessment, so we can get the assessments for those properties.
Right.
And get the partial year assessment for it. We are currently in the middle of a mandated reevaluation of all the township properties for tax assessment purposes. Realty appraisal was awarded that contract back in about January of this year. And they have started that process. They have not completed that process. It will be completed sometime in 2016 for the 2017 tax year.
Okay.
What the mayor had mentioned earlier on is apart and separate from that, the county has this tax demonstration program that they initiated about 3 years ago. There's a different company you may have read about, Realty Data.
Right.
Which we don't have a contract with.
Okay.
And won't have a contract.
So there's no relationship between.
Well,
We don't have a contract with RDS. We don't need
Okay.
that.
That's what I was curious about. I mean, except for realty, I wondered, okay, maybe they change the name to protect the guilty or not.
Maybe.
But it's a totally separate, distinct company.
and a distinct project as well.
Okay. Hotel, okay. On the, actually, I'm guessing, on the please, second page, Team Life replacement battery, is that for a defibrillator?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because I know there were 3 expensive. And the only other one is 2015 polling place Reynolds. Is that just for English Manor? So I know that's one of the polling places, or is there others?
Yeah, I know him. What's he looking at?
Second page,
I got it.
Yeah.
election account.
Yeah, what that is we're responsible to pay for the polling places for the municipal election. So that was our May election, that's
Right.
our portion. So we pay, a certain amount of money for each election.
Okay. I'm just curious, would we have to pay regardless of where it is?
No, we don't pay our municipal buildings. So any municipal building that we own, that we use, we obviously don't, like, we don't pay the gym and sports complex. We don't pay the senior center over on West Park Avenue.
Okay.
We don't pay the municipal building, obviously. So it's just any buildings that we rent, the Church on the Hill, St. George Greek Orthodox Church, the English Manor, anyone that we rent.
Would that include, if we went back, because in the past, we used to use the firehouse on.
Correct.
Yeah, we could pack over in Sunset. Did we reimburse them, do you know, again, or not?
I don't remember, that was when I first got here, and then we moved it shortly thereafter, so I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember if we did.
Okay. If we went to, like, one of us to school, we'd have to reimburse?
We did pay, yes.
Okay.
We paid the schools.
Okay. Now, moving right along, on to, actually, there's, okay, a couple of resolutions, and if I'm skipping again, let me know. Okay, I'll find it eventually, next year. No, not really. On 15 to 11. Now, I read through that and understood it, which is questionable. There's a part is we match, if required, almost $3 million. I'm just going out because it makes it easier. When will we know whether that's needed or not, or we won't know until it's further down the road? Part one, and then it says, I think, if I read it correctly, if state funds are less than anticipated, we'd be on the hook, if I read it correctly. Am I understanding it correctly?
You are. But remember, this is a state grant that we're getting.
Right.
And the match in that amount will come from FEMA.
Okay.
Which is considered federal fund.
Okay. And the only other one, and this is jumping the gun, on 15-13, for the tennis services, exactly what is this person going to be doing? Teaching tennis or lessons or what?
They do give tennis lessons over at the West Park courts,
Yeah.
at the pool and tennis complex. And then also, they pay us to use the courts, and they are able to provide lessons privately, and then they also have to do group lessons for our rec program as well, and then run tournaments on our behalf throughout the summer.
Okay, so it's like a dual purpose
All right.
function. Okey dokey. That's all planned.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. Anybody else to the resolutions? Please come on up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Bob Angelini, 54 Cold Indian Springs Road. The other night I saw you at the meeting, the zoning board of adjustment meeting, and I asked you about the audio that's used for the meetings, and you said that the applicant pays for it, but I see here.
Well, no, we pay AVD, who was
The vendor,
the vendor for it?
I don't.
No, but we
Concept
pay,
Professional, this says.
they pay some of their own people, but we pay for the audio there. The township does pay that.
Okay, so they don't pay for the applicant doesn't pay for the audio there?
No,
Okay, I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood you.
And they pay a special meeting fee.
they pay a
For
fee.
just those meetings, so this doesn't include the,
For any special meeting,
Any
whether it's
special
held here
meeting.
or held off-site.
But if it's on-site, we have to provide the location.
okay, so the big meetings that occurred in the high school, the township paid for it?
No,
No, they pay a fee,
Okay.
but then
I'm
we
talking
have,
about the sound
The
director.
sound
no, no.
director.
that, because we had to provide extra sound for the people potentially in the other room, so we had to pay for it.
So this $10,000 is for the big meetings?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Also, is it possible, Mr. Brennan, if you could do a cost analysis for the election being held in May? I see there's 2,000 here for
I
this.
think it's like 41,000, Bob. We'll get you the numbers.
Yeah.
Typically, right, Ben, about that?
Yeah, it's between 30 and 40.
Has there ever been a consideration to move the
It's come up, we had an opportunity a few years back, I think it was 2011 maybe, or 12. And we didn't do it at the time, Bob. I mean, our thinking was because we're a nonpartisan town and wanted to keep that identity. And the 40,000 over the 4 years, it's not every year that we have the election, of course. We just felt that,
I think a lot of other things happen that, could bring the partisan stuff into it, so, I mean, if it's just that, maybe we need to,
every couple of years it
revisit
comes
that,
up, so we revisit it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else as to vouchers or resolutions, no? Okay. Tonight we have a consent agenda for workshop of November. Okay, so the minutes for November 12, 2015, workshop in the meeting. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and resolutions 15206 to 152221, sorry. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and vouchers in the amount of $152,843.12. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Abstain, please.
Councilmember Long.
Yes, except those with which I have a conflict in as much as they're paying for the room that I had for the League of Municipalities. All others, I vote yes.
Councilwoman Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, all except for the ones with which I have a conflict. Okay, tonight we have resolutions 15-12, authorize a change in petty cash custodian for the Township of Ocean Police Department in accordance with NJSA 40:5-21. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-13, authorize the consideration of the following bids: A, tennis service; B, traffic striping and pavement marking. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-14, authorize the rejection of the bid for the lifeguard services due to failure to submit the required documents and excessive pricing, and authorize the rebidding of said services. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-15, authorize the tax collector to issue a refund of the property owner block 153, lot 66.26, due to the duplicate payment for the fourth quarter of 2015. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-16, authorize the acceptance of the following grant: A, drive sober or get pulled over 2015 year-end holiday crackdown. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-17, authorize the purchase of treated rock salt through the state of New Jersey, that's right, cooperative purchase program for Morton Salt, state contract A4201 at a cost of $92.01 per ton. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. 15-18. Okay. Confirm the private sale of real property to Robin Fliger for a property located on Wardell Place, block 123, lot 40. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-19, authorize the purchase of the following trucks for the Department of Public Works from Bear Ford, Morristown, New Jersey, state contract A88727. A, 2016 Ford F-250 with utility body and snowplow in the amount of $47,440.50. B, 2016 Ford F-450 with dump body and snowplow in the amount of $62,280.50. And C, 2016 Ford F-450 with grain body and snowplow, $74,193.50. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and the vehicles that we're retiring there, folks, just so you know, instead of going to auction, I asked the manager if he's looking at just doing a private sale, we'll advertise it for a month. And so you never know, you might get a landscaper or somebody wants to pick up some of this equipment, and we make a few bucks on it too. So repurpose it. 15220, appoint the captain of administration of the police department as the municipal 911 coordinator. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Tonight, for adoption, we have ordinance number 2250. Ben, would you read the title, please?
Ordinance 2250, a bond ordinance providing for various improvements appropriating $225,000 and authorizing the issuance of $213,750 bonds or notes to finance a portion of the cost and directing a special assessment.
Someone please open the public hearing on ordinance number 2250.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance 2250, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing or hearing no one, someone please offer to close the public hearing on ordinance 2250.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, action please on ordinance number 2250.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2250 and publish according to law.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara. Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, also for adoption tonight is ordinance number 2252. Ben, would you read the title, please?
An ordinance of the Township of Ocean repealing Chapter 5, Section 5-13, ordinance number 2195, called secondhand dealers, in its entirety, and replacing it with dealers in precious metals and other secondhand goods.
Someone please open the public hearing on ordinance number 2252.
I open the public hearing on ordinance number 2252.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance number 2252, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Paul Merowitz, Cedar Village Boulevard, Ocean. This is replacing our existing ordinance. Nowhere is there a red line copy available that shows the differences between the two documents. So I'd ask if council could just briefly tell us why we had to replace the ordinance in its entirety and what really changed.
Okay. The purpose for the change, and it was through the police department, there's now a county and actually multi-county program, something called, I think it's called RAPID, where they can exchange information on computers regarding products that are stolen, whatever, and we needed changes to this ordinance in order to be consistent and comply with the county and other municipalities. So the changes were to try to promote that process, so that we be consistent with the other towns that are, and I think eventually almost all towns are going to be on part of this program, so that you can track stolen goods and see when they're brought to secondhand dealers.
No problem with that. Does council provide the council with a brief description of modifications for any ordinance?
We get the ordinance.
That's,
Verbally.
I present to the
Yeah,
council
we
with
get
a
it.
workshop.
So there's no written document per se?
I won't say never, sometimes on the more complicated zoning ones, we will get a written memo accompanying it from community development. It really just depends on the nature of the ordinance.
So if a concerned citizen wanted to find out what the changes were to an ordinance when it was first introduced, what would be the best mechanism to do so?
They can just call, we can walk through it, or if there's a memo, we can produce it.
Thank you.
I think in this case, Paul, you could look at the earlier ordinance, look at this ordinance, and
Still
still
on
change.
I'm looking,
It-
just like everybody else, I'm looking for the shortcut.
I don't blame you, because, but I can tell you, this was all driven by the police department.
No, I just wanted to understand, that's all.
Okay.
But thank you. Anybody else wish to be heard on ordinance number 2252, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing or hearing no one, somebody please move to close the public hearing on ordinance 2252.
I make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2252.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, action please on ordinance number 2252.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2252 and publish according to law.
Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Tonight for introduction of ordinance number 2251, and read the title.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 21 entitled the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance for the Township of Ocean.
Please make a motion to introduce ordinance 2251.
Make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2251.
Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, that'll have its public hearing on 12/29, that's the last meeting of the month. Also, tonight for introduction of ordinance 20, I'm sorry, we're going to pull ordinance 2253, we need to tweak it more, so that's on the agenda. We're going to pull that and make some changes. Also for introduction, ordinance 2254. Bill, would you read that title?
Sure. An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 5, Sections 5-5.4 and 5-15.3 of the revised general ordinance of the Township of Ocean entitled Licensing.
Great, someone please offer to introduce ordinance number 2254.
I introduce ordinance number 2254.
Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, that ordinance will also have its public hearing on 12/29. Also for introduction, our last one is ordinance 2255. Bill, would you read the title?
Sure. An ordinance amending ordinance 2185 entitled an ordinance fixing salaries and compensation of certain officers, positions, and employees for the Township of Ocean.
Great, someone please introduce ordinance 2255.
I introduce ordinance number 2255.
Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Achara.
Yeah.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and that too will have its public hearing on 12/29. Anybody have anything they'd like to come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record?
Barbara Hudson, Wayside. Mr. Long and Mr. Siciliano sustained on something, was it reimbursement?
Yeah, that was on the vouchers because we had a reimbursement for our room stay at the convention this year.
You didn't get enough money or something?
We didn't get paid yet, we put the money out ourselves.
Okay.
We didn't vote for ourselves to receive that.
Now, the question I had is about the Asbury Park Press article about the realtor.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really understand. And there was a lot of emails at the bottom of that, which was emailed from our tax assessor
To the county.
and so on. And I thought the big question was that, and I asked that, and you have always used this tax evaluation company, right? You always
They've
used-
been
Always
a
a long time, but I think.
successful bidder for many
All right,
years.
well, as long as he's in.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, and, but wasn't the question there that, the fellow that was, brought the case about was arguing that he didn't have a chance to bid? You know, in other words, that it should have been open to many people.
Well, everybody had a chance to bid. We only received one bid, and I don't want to give a legal opinion on this because I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one at nighttime either, like some people do. Where is he? People, I'm like, so.
I got an apology from Mark.
That was awesome. He did a good job, I'll say. But I think the gripe of the other bidders were, they felt that this company was receiving so much information ahead of time that it wasn't fair to the other bidders. And
I think if you look at the articles, because I am a lawyer, I didn't law school, but I think if you look at the articles, I think the objector was saying there was information provided in advance, and I think the realty appraiser responded that any information that we got was available to everybody. So, you know, it's going to play out over a period of time. Right.
So why did Ocean have such a prominent place in this article?
like, did we or didn't?
We did. I mean, you were mentioned many times, you put the emails in and so on.
Yeah,
I think because we're one of the few communities in Monmouth County that's been ordered to do a revaluation.
What did you do?
Yeah, a lot of towns are already further along into the demonstration program because they did their reval 2 years ago or 3 years ago. We didn't. We're in the process of doing ours right now.
Okay, what did you do? I don't know anybody did that one.
That was not clear, but we did have a nice prominent place in the article.
Yes, yes.
Always loved that.
Great, thank you. Yes, sir, come on up.
After receiving.
You have to say your name and.
Name and address for the...
Ray Cole from 9 Johnson Street. After getting 2 letters from Township of Ocean Sewage Authority.
Yes.
Met with the mayor, asking him, you know, what knowledge he had of it. At that time, he really didn't have too much info to give me. I kind of forgot about it, actually threw the other letters away. Last week, I got another letter from him.
I did too.
Is it about sewer line protection?
Yes.
Yeah, these are my questions. I mean, I don't know if you looked into this company, but this is not a company I would want my township to be on.
Well, just to, I mean, I think the sewage authority has meetings, and frankly, I think it's an issue, and we'll listen to what you have to say.
Okay.
It's an issue you want to bring into the sewage authority.
Well,
Because I got the same comments.
I don't know how to get to the sewer, I came here first.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we did meet earlier, and I did pass on your concerns to them, and, you know, because I...
Do we have a relationship with this company?
We don't.
Okay, my question I'll ask you, you're a lawyer. They're using township.
They're using their name to send it.
They're using the Township of Ocean Sewage Authority letterhead.
Right.
And frankly, I think it's a good issue, and I think it's something that should be brought up to the Township of Ocean Sewage Authority.
Did they have permission to use it?
I don't know.
Okay, if they're not, then I would call it mail fraud.
Well, I don't know if they have permission to
Well,
use it, but
They
again,
must have a contract with the sewage authority or
Well,
something.
you know, for example, I just, not to get into the details, but very quickly, they're not giving us any kind of deal here.
Right.
I mean, not that I would even want to deal with these people, because they have like 300 complaints against the Business Bureau against them. They have other cities and towns actually filed charges against them for using their town's letterhead without permission.
Wow.
All right, and it says, you know, Home Serve USA. They're not a USA company. They originated in Great Britain. All right, I mean, I spent 20 minutes on the internet to find this out.
And they're willing to make house calls in Ocean Township? Is that what they...
Well,
They want to do a service.
They're giving you the impression that the sewage authority is promoting this one particular
Correct, sure.
company to ensure your sewer lines.
Right.
I wouldn't mind getting a letter from the sewage authority saying, listen, this could happen to you.
Yeah, call these companies.
Call these companies, so
Exactly.
forth and so on. That wouldn't be a problem. But now when you're
Steering.
singling out one company.
I think your gripe is a legitimate gripe. It's the same one that some of us have expressed.
Yes.
When does the sewage authority have their meeting?
Once a month, I think they just
They
met.
did
Well,
just
I know
meet.
they just met.
Probably.
It must be the first Tuesday of every month.
First Tuesday, yeah.
And frankly, I think it's a legitimate issue, and I think.
When I went online to see what the price, they give you a price here per year, and I went on, they said, well, we have an agreement with, I put my address in, they said, we have an agreement with Ocean Township, blah, 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 please, go through that process, so.
Hey, you don't have to use them, by the way. I know they're representing that that's the way it is, and they may have a contract with TOSA. Doesn't mean you have to use them for a service agreement.
I question why
Absolutely not.
anybody from TOSA would ever make a contract with them, when are they getting out there? And that's what I'm saying, because after that, I put in the address of my sister-in-law, who lives a half a mile in West Long Branch.
Yeah.
Okay, same price. So it's not like, we're getting any kind of
A
deal.
deal, right.
Who's paying for this letter?
I think the vendor most likely is paying.
We should find out.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want my tax dollars to be paid.
No.
Yeah.
Again, this is not related to tax dollars, it's related to your sewage.
It's okay, I'm still paying sewage.
I understand, but
Part of the
the
fees, absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to get into what department is what.
No, good.
It's a good question. We've gotten those letters. The mayor's gotten a letter like that. I've gotten a letter like that, so we're going to
And,
investigate.
and it's really using scare tactics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't like it either.
Some people will pick this up, gee, I don't have thousands of dollars to put into this, gee, I better put the money out.
Right.
I'm here to really make sure nobody falls into this type of, fraud, that's what I call it.
Your comments are well founded, but you need to know that the Sewage Authority is an autonomous government, just like the fire districts and the
I'm
Board
not aware
of
of that.
Education. So you do have to.
Not a
you have to
department,
speak
yeah.
with that. It's not a department of the town. It's
So when can I speak to the sewage authority?
Tuesdays.
right on Roosevelt Avenue, and again, they have their meetings the first Tuesday of every month.
You don't have to wait for a meeting.
You know, you can go
Go on in there, there's a
Okay.
gentleman there, Mr. Smelling,
Okay.
he's a director over there,
Right.
and he's there,
Right, right across
9
the railroad tracks, it's the
Yeah.
first right.
I mean, I really think it should be addressed before.
100%.
If this is really a problem, because too much of our, fellow
We're starting to hear more.
is falling, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on up to the microphone, state your name and Address for the record?
Paul Merowitz, Cedarville, Baltimore Ocean. I had assumed that we were pulling out of the assessment demonstration program because of all the alleged irregularities. Why did we really pull out of the program?
Because of all the...
Because of
You just
there's a
mentioned.
cloud over the entire process, so we felt that it's not the Ocean Township's interest and the interest of its citizens to continue to participate in a program that has this dark cloud over it.
And did you discuss, since you're pulling out of the program, when those properties that were not reassessed as part of the existing demonstration program were going to be revalued again?
Well, these were the reassessment. This is for reassessment.
We're, as I said earlier, we're in the middle of a revow.
100%.
So every property will be a part of that.
When will that reval take place?
It's taking place as we
Ongoing.
speak.
When will those assessments be effective?
They'll be effective for 2017.
2007.
You'll get the notice in 2016, here's what your new assessment is, so it'll be for 2017 taxes.
So because my community was fortunate enough to be assessed as the first 20% of the program, I have an increase for 2015, 2016, and 2014. I've had 3 increases in my taxes since I moved here. While there are homeowners in this town who have not been reassessed. So everybody who has
I don't
already
think that's
contributed,
accurate, Paul. Everybody got reassessed.
that you said we're doing a full
We
revaluation
are. That's-
for 2017.
But everybody, we are, as we speak right now, we're still in the demonstration program. You can't get out of it until next year. So everybody just got their cards mailed.
Yes, that's what brought it up to me.
So my assessment changed as well.
But as I understood the assessment program, the 5-year program, it was 20% of the properties each year.
No, 20% of the properties to be inspected each year, 100% to be reviewed.
Thank you. Now I don't feel so bad that my taxes are going up.
Right.
But we'll wait until we get to the budget on that, okay?
Yeah.
But as part of reading about the assessment program and trying to obtain some background information on some applications before the zoning board, I took a look at some properties within the township. And I looked at a specific property, it declined in value. I looked at some properties that were owned by the same property owner, they declined in value. I looked at another commercial site, it declined in
I
value.
said commercial mostly, right?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
I said, my God, residential values are going up, these commercial properties are going down, and we're out of the economic crisis. Okay, I took the tax rolls, calculated the average property assessment by property class. And to my surprise, I found that 4A, commercial, was going down. And to my chagrin, I find that property class 2, residential, is going up. Logically speaking, it doesn't make any sense to me. I clearly haven't had a chance to look to see if there's 1 or 2 big properties doing this. I mean, there are only 400 commercial properties approximately in Ocean Township. There's a heck of a lot more residential properties. I really, I'll call Andrew, but I want to bring this to the attention of the entire council because as a resident, I'm really concerned about it.
Yeah, no, we'll talk to our assessor about the method that he's using. I'll say this, as a realtor, there's another one in the room. The rental market now is coming back, getting a little healthier, but for years it was really down. I think a lot of that's a lag from 13, 14, 12, from those years. But you could take a big shopping center, for example, and they also assessed on their, the value, the cost approach, the rental.
I looked at that large shopping center, okay?
Right.
And I remember the hearing, I believe, where they said their property assessments would probably double if their zoning application was approved.
Okay, I don't know which one that is, but okay.
Yeah, well, it hasn't doubled, I can tell you.
But there's others that, like Presidio, I'll say that's coming on strong. In the next few years, you'll probably see that one on the rise again. That was one of our biggest decliners over the past 10 years. When I was here, it was assessed at 130 million at one time, and went down, and now it's on its way back up. So. Big tax loss, big tax loss.
We can talk about that at another time,
Okay.
but not now. At the last council meeting, council and I had a discussion about whether or not we needed an ordinance for sexually oriented business. Okay? I believe, and I can discuss this offline if you'd like, that there are locations within Ocean Township where a sexually oriented business can be located, and it will not be within 1,000 feet of a school, a house of worship, a bus stop, yada, 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 and that the township really should focus on that. When I took a look at the statute,
Now, how are you finding, Paul, I just want to back up, how are you measuring the distance of the properties
it's 1,000 feet.
from corner of edge of property to edge of property?
Well, let's take a simple example. Where the city public works department is, measure 1,000 feet from there. And tell me,
Sunset Avenue there?
yeah, tell me where there's a residential zone.
Roller Hill, Roller Road East.
I would check the 1,000 feet. If it is, that's fine. But the thing that concerned
That
me,
would be an area that, if we were to make a zone, that would be a zone that would.
I would agree with you, okay? The thing that concerned me about the state statute, a commercial establishment which as one of its principal business purposes. I don't know that that has been defined in any court case as to what principal business purpose is. And we may, since we're permitted to by statute, come up with a stricter statute, ordinance, so long as it doesn't violate any of the constitutional rights of the property owner.
We've been discussing it in workshop, and we were hoping to have something introduced in January, but Marty's still struggling with something.
I can understand why.
There's recently a case that just came out that further complicates the issue in terms of the constitutional question. And recently, in the last couple of months. And so it's a very difficult issue.
Is that the one down south?
It's in East Hanover.
Okay. I also would like, I believe that we ought to take a look, as we all recognize, about our ordinance on boarding schools, and that it needs to be tightened up, and the sooner we do it, the better off we are.
So you know, and I don't want to leave you thinking that's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to defer to our attorney again. He will explain to you some of the actions you can take.
Right now, we have a case that was just decided. My guess is there's going to be litigation following that. And, I think we need to wait that out. And, we'll see what happens. We have to be cautious and play it by ear, see what goes on there.
Last question.
Just so you know, I mean, I never heard officially that there's an appeal. Just my opinion, and I shared that with our attorney, so did some of the other members. So he's the attorney, and he has advice for us. But, my feeling is, I didn't hear an appeal, so let's have an ordinance.
This is not a zoning board hearing, so I don't believe comment on that case would be particularly appropriate.
Right.
The question I had was, and the mayor and I discussed this many weeks ago, and I appreciate seeing it on the discussion calendar, the no-knock discussion that you
should be
had.
ready for January as an introduction.
Similar to the Jackson?
Yeah, well, just what it is, it's simple ordinance, and we have our our solicitor's ordinance, so we're going to time together as far as fines and things like that, and it's a police action if someone's caught violating the statute, etc.
I would ask one favor. Andrew, could you call Jackson and Tom's River to see how they've done with that resolution, and if they had another opportunity to tighten it up?
And we have the Jackson one, I'll call Paul down in Tom's River.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Come on up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Bob Angelini, 54 Cold Indian Springs Road. Mr. Arbus, could you tell me what the mayor's involvement is in the zoning board of adjustment? How much could he be involved with as far as scheduling and talking with the zoning board of adjustment outside of a public meeting?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Discussing a particular application?
This, in general, what is the mayor's legal involvement with the zoning board?
He doesn't have a legal involvement with the zoning board except appointing members.
So
As a councilman.
is he involved in scheduling meetings?
To be honest with you,
Could he be involved in scheduled meetings? Is he allowed to be involved in scheduled meetings?
scheduling meetings,
For the-
typically the board schedules their own meeting.
Right, okay. My reason here is, I have a couple reasons for being here tonight to talk about this.
We know.
Okay. We being?
Me.
Okay. I'd just like the council to be aware of what's going on, all right? That, and the people here in Ocean Township to be aware of what's going on.
This is germane to township business?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is, because this speaks to the involvement of you, Mayor, involved in this recent dorm decision, okay? And your position as the mayor, and where that ends as an elected official. You know, on your social media site yesterday, you posted accusations about the Board of Education, about members of the Board of Education, which caused a lot of problems for me personally, and in my opinion, and not only in my opinion, but other opinions, there was no reason to post something like that on a public site, on a decision that could possibly still come before you, all right? Now, you said there's no appeal. Where did you receive that information?
I said I haven't heard that they're appealing yet.
But when would you, outside the public hearing, know that?
I mean, I think they would come through our community development, that they said, hey, we received a notice of an appeal that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
What do you?
Well, the reason why I'm asking is this. You make comments publicly prefacing that you're not supposed to comment on matters for the zoning board of adjustment. And in your post, you commented on what happened in front of with this
I
case.
think my comment was I wouldn't take a position as mayor, or, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that was your opening.
And I didn't take a position, Bob.
Okay, you took a position that due to two people, or actually three people on the board, that the township almost lost this, the approval almost went through.
He almost denied people the right to have the application heard, is what I was upset about, that the school board had denied us the use of the facility. And I said, like, I've lived here all my life, this gentleman went through the school since it was born. That's the first time that's ever happened. We asked for a use permit, and you know, the date was available. It was given to us as an available date.
Let me just ask you this, because I don't want to go around with you
We're not gonna
because
go
of
around,
that.
but that's what I'm upset about.
But,
I'm always gonna be upset about that. It
Okay,
just
and
doesn't-
I'm sure you have my phone number because you've called me before to
I
talk
have
about
mine,
being
so you can
upset.
come and talk to me about
But I
this.
would never interfere with a vote here after a vote is taken to poll all of the council members and asking to reconsider the vote, number one, okay, which you did to the school board, all right, called people on the school board and the board president.
I didn't call the board president. Oh, the school board, I'm sorry.
Yes, the school board.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And insinuated that our actions as elected officials were dubious. This is not a way that a mayor should interact with the school board.
No, we should have great
Publicly.
relations, and I felt that.
And I'll tell you, and this is
by
the
objecting to
second
us
part
using that-
while I'm here,
Go ahead.
Mayor. The second part while I'm here is to tell you, the reason why we denied this.
Tell me, that's what I
The reason why
want. Tell me why.
everyone unanimously denied this.
Tell me why.
Everyone unanimously denied this,
Yeah,
not
they
just
did. The
three
first vote
people.
around, everyone denied it, no.
Yes, an illegal vote, okay?
Okay.
Everyone legally denied this, all right, was because we had a large event at the school that evening.
Okay.
And we owe it to the people that come to our meetings, come to all public meetings, to make the meetings available to everyone, and this is a very important meeting of
Okay,
the
so you
zoning
had
board
a,
of adjustment.
you had a school board, you had a board of ed meeting, and there was another event, is that what you're saying?
There was another event there,
Okay, at the
yes.
school.
And at no time did anyone ever say that if they did not have this meeting, that there was going to be an automatic approval of this.
No, no one knew that,
So-
that was new,
so
that was
after
absolutely new
after-
development, yes.
After they denied the application,
Right.
you thought it was necessary to go online saying that 3 people, no, I'm sorry, I think you said 2 people, even though 3 voted against it, that you thought it was necessary to agitate everyone to say that we almost caused that from happening, right? As a mayor of this town, on Facebook.
It was a close call, and I was very upset that you denied us the use change because.
We denied you the use
Okay,
legally.
time out. The way this works is, you were speaking, I think he listened, he's responding.
I'm not done speaking.
Well, no, you stopped and he's
Okay.
responding, so go ahead.
So, I mean, we've had meetings too, Bob, where this application is something that everybody in the town is very concerned about. So it had a lot of traction, 800 people at meetings, et cetera. So obviously, a lot of people were very concerned about it, right?
That's correct.
Okay, correct.
People are very
So
concerned
even
about
though you would have a meeting, and if we did have a meeting that night, actually, we had a TOSA meeting we had to get to. So I was gonna cancel that, or cancel that meeting December 1st. It's very hard to get these meetings together. You have to know there's engineers, there's lighting people,
I'm totally
there's
aware of that.
professionals.
Totally aware of that.
And then there's the volunteer board members that have a schedule. So that date was really the only
We
date
all have those
available in
problems, right.
December.
Well, I think it's important to note that prior to that date, and typically what happens is a notice goes typically from Mary Ann Walensky and goes to usually we're meeting here, but because of the number of people, notice goes to the superintendent. He comes back with dates, and based on those dates, she polls board members, and she provides the attorneys with the dates and see if they can be there, they're professionals. So it's a very involved process.
And what our board
I'm
tells,
not finished.
and what our board
I'm not
says is
finished.
not, okay, but I want to
finished.
clarify
When
that.
she finishes that process, she says, okay, from the 3 dates, the date that makes sense for us is December 1st, and understandably, that ultimately goes before the Board of Education. However, up until that point, that has always been, okay. I mean,
It's
there's never
always
been
been,
any
do
question.
not post the date until the Board of Education approves it.
No, I don't know if that's.
One of the
Yeah,
members of the
that's-
Board of Ed posted that date themselves before it was approved on her Facebook page, social media. Don't forget, December 1st looks like the next meeting.
I don't
It was
know
on there.
that, no,
You
I don't
know
know
what,
that.
it
But I'm
seems
telling
like
you-
Let me
Well,
submit
they're
this
telling
to
you
you,
about
we'll
social
end
media,
this,
telling you.
we'll end this. Mr. Arvis, do you think it's appropriate for the mayor to be conducting city business on his Facebook account?
Well,
Do you think that's
kind of
gonna-
if it was up to me, there wouldn't be any Facebook accounts. And frankly, the's a lot of things
Okay,
conducted
so
by
that's a
both
yes.
sides, including on your end.
I'm not the mayor,
I know.
all right, Mr. Arvis, I'm not the mayor.
I
Do
recognize
you
that.
think
There's
that's
a lot of
important?
stuff, I'm not gonna
That's
get
the
into an
question,
opinion
okay.
as to what should be posted on Facebook.
So you're-
That's not my
Bob,
job.
we
But the
understand.
bottom line is,
So you think that township business, it's okay to take care of stuff that the mayor's not even supposed to be involved with, that's still pending on Facebook?
I'm
This issue
not giving
before,
an opinion as to what should be posted on Facebook.
okay, so you're not
Frankly,
answering me. When I'm
I'm not
asking.
gonna answer
okay.
you, and frankly, I don't think a lot of the things that get posted by various people should be posted on Facebook.
Okay,
But
that is
do-
not the question. The question
I
is
don't care
this.
what your question is.
You don't care what my question is?
No, I really don't.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
You don't care what my question, you're a township attorney, I'm asking you a
You're not
question.
asking me a legal question, you're asking me, should he post something on Facebook?
I am, I'm asking you, is it legal for him to be posting about the zoning board of adjustment decisions that are still pending possibly
on his Facebook account.
Well, I don't believe.
And people responding back and forth wanting to know who are the ones that voted like this, people criticizing us.
Who voted about the use of the gym, not about the
It wasn't
zoning board
that about,
application.
I didn't see the
It
post,
was
so I
about
don't
the
know what
use
it
of the
said.
gym, Bob,
But
and I
it's
was
not,
upset about,
I'll send it to
nobody
you.
gave me that
You don't know.
explanation that you're giving me now. You could have called us and said, listen, here's why that date's not available,
I
instead
could have
of,
called you. You could have
Yes.
called me prior
well,
to this.
we went in.
Okay?
okay, you know what,
Manipulating the-
frankly, I think this is a discussion that the two of you should have.
Come on in, so we
Over
know.
a cup of coffee or something else, when he has donuts or whatever, and discuss it. I don't think really.
This
we're-
this is
people are
something
wasting
that I
a lot of
wanted the council and the township manager and the public to know
time. Okay,
of what's going on. Okay?
well, I guess we all know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anybody else, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address. Mr. Geiger was first, Gino, I'm sorry. Come on, please. You were there. Gino, sit in the front row, you're gonna be next.
I need the extra.
Sure. Name and address again?
I think it's still Don Geiger, and as far as I know, I still live at 1108.
We only ask because we're recorded.
I know.
Okay.
First of all, I want to make a couple comments before I get what I want to say. I'll say it anyway. The person was asking about the sewer line protection. I believe they still do it, New Jersey American Water.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're right.
saying use them, don't use them, but they do offer it. And it's known entity, as opposed to whoever you got this mailing from. The second thing is, while in a way I agree with our esteemed lawyer about Facebook, I think that gets out of hand. However, I think you don't give up all your civil rights when you become an elected official. I think you should be entitled to express your opinion, particularly if no one comes to you and says, gee, we totally blew it, there's this, that, and other thing going on. Because this was a vital issue to the town. I mean, I didn't go to it. I saw the signs, I saw the articles, I followed them. And if I thought my presence would make a difference, I would have shown up. When I saw 800 people, I said, I think I got other things going on. So, for what it's worth, I think you have done, and are doing a great job. And I think you should be able to express your feelings and your frustrations without someone jumping down your throat. The only other thing I have is I noticed the wonderful electronic billboard on 35, and one of the things it flashes to is the own
Promotion program.
Is that cost of the
Free.
Oh,
I knew you were gonna ask.
yeah.
I can see the bill list.
There is
You never
this
know.
new electronic billboard offers us several times a year where we can advertise. So we're gonna put like Memorial Day on there, we'll put that program on there, things that are beneficial to the community, so they'll be on there.
Okay, and I won't hold you to it. You mentioned, I asked you about Alaire, the repaving. Is that still gonna happen this year, or will it probably go next year?
I don't think it will happen this year because there's a significant drainage issue on that, with the storm sewer on that street. It's gonna have to be fixed before we pave it.
Okay.
So they may do the base coat after they're gonna do the sewer, or the storm sewer. repair.
Right.
They may do the base coat and then leave it, because it's gonna settle in that spot as well, where they do the storm sewer replacement.
Right.
So I think realistically, we're looking at the spring.
Okay. The last thing, first of all, to my fans that, being taped, or listen to that.
It's being taped.
Being taped? Oh, good.
Just one part was cut out.
To my fans at Public Works, Nancy and Mary, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whichever applies. The same to the board and Andrew. And of course, our esteemed, illustrious attorney.
Thank you for the court.
Thank you very much, Mr. Geiger.
Thank you, Mr. Geiger.
Mr. Dolmo will come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, please.
Gino DeLomo, 45 Rebecca Drive, in Madison. I emailed a letter to the mayor, addressed to the mayor, to his email, and I just wanted to make sure that you received it and shared it with the council.
Yes, we forwarded. My email was late today, but I did forward it to them. Mr. Arbus had received a hard copy in workshop while he was having his pizza, but did you have a chance to peruse?
I did glance at it, but it's something that I need to look at. And again, it's a similar issue that somebody brought up before. So we can discuss that, but I think.
Well, I think it goes a little bit more into depth of
It certainly does.
what we're looking for as a community, to make sure that we're safeguarded against things that we don't want to happen in our community. And can I ask if one of the council members can possibly read that letter into the record?
No, we're not going to read the letter into the record. But, I think we normally do not do that, but if you want to say what was in the letter or paraphrase it, that's fine.
Well, it's a lengthy letter.
It is a lengthy letter, that's what we're not going to do.
Well, Gino, if you want to highlight something from each paragraph,
But I think, Gino, what I really think, we can do whatever we like to do, you have the right to speak about that, actually. But, and I'd love to talk to you at some point to discuss it, but right now it's something that we're reviewing and make that about.
Well, then if you don't mind, I'd like to set an appointment to come see you one day.
Well, okay, we will do that after the meeting's over and I'll see, because my office is up at Hazlet, so either be up there or be down here.
That's fine, I could drive there.
I'm sure for a measly rent, I could get a space down here.
we'll work something out.
Just for one day.
Maybe he'll join us with a call.
The mileage will be reviewed by Mr. Geiger.
That's true.
That's true. I have another question also. Back to the no-knock registry that you're currently working on, actually no-knock ordinance. There's a difference between a no-knock ordinance and a no-knock registry.
Right, the registry comes after the
I just want to
ordinance.
make sure that we're in play to get both of them taken
Yeah.
care of and not.
The
just one.
registry just comes after the ordinance, it sets what they have to comply with when they're knocking, when the solicitors are out there, they have to make an effort to get that list.
Yeah, the no-knock ordinance just sets forth that there's going to be a registry, in essence, amongst others.
One other question I have, I understand that you're going to have a DJ for the menorah lighting. I'd like to know who that DJ is.
Was it Sex Me? Yeah, they had got them themselves, these not being paid by the town, and it's through,
So that's privately
privately.
funded by whoever.
Yeah, I don't know if he's charging them or not.
I think he's doing it for Rabbi Karlock.
Oh, that's right.
Rabbi Karlock, I think, asked them to do it because I think they're friends.
Okay.
We have a DJ at the Christmas tree lane, but he's not getting paid either.
And who is that DJ?
That's DJ Bob, very
Bob.
famous, he works for us here at Human Services.
Right.
He's the one, Gino, if you ever rent a room or whatever, one of the facilities, he'll probably be there giving you the keys, et cetera. Does a lot of good things for the town. He really does everything.
DJ Marty's all
I
over.
know who he is. He works over at the.
Human
Services. We've had our private meetings,
Yes.
gotten the keys from him.
We just call him Bob, because his last name's longer than both of ours put together.
When is the next council meeting?
The 29th.
December 27th.
And in the letter that I had sent over, that you're gonna review, Mr. Arvis, is it possible that we can get some ordinance together for the next meeting? Because the ordinances that I'm talking about are not only for the specific no dorm meeting that we had. They specify other areas that really need to be addressed. So
I
is it?
wouldn't expect that we would have anything by December 29th.
Well, we wouldn't be able to introduce it anyway, because it wouldn't be able to be adopted in the same year, so we wouldn't be able to do it until the January meeting.
But it would require a lot of further detail.
Can you explain to me, like, when you say you can't put it into the same year, what does that mean?
Well, it takes 2 meetings to adopt it.
Okay.
So if we introduced it in 15, we wouldn't be able to adopt the 16, and we don't do that. It gets introduced and adopted in the same year.
In the same year, okay. And,
Gina, can you summarize that, so we can have it?
You want to say what the crux of your letter is, Gino?
I'll just read it into the record.
Well, I think for legal purposes, I don't think Mr. Arbus was comfortable. He did read something
Okay.
to have it all read in. Is that right?
I think, if you want to provide them with a copy of the letter, you can certainly do that.
Do you have a copy machine here? We don't have to pay for that.
I'm sure they'll provide you an
50 cents
email.
Email.
Mrs. Hudson has a service where she can copy the letter and email it around, right?
Well, I just sent that one.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gino. Anybody else? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
007, Mala, Cedar Village. I'd just like to, for clarification, I was one of the members of the school board that voted against the proposal, based on the Board of Adjustment announced that they will let the community know at their November meeting when the next hearing will be heard. I went on the township calendar, and it was already posted on there. It was posted on there before the Board of Education received it. And based on that, I could not, in good conscience, vote for something that did not follow protocol and was not in the best interest of the integrity of the Board of Education, since it appeared that our rights to the school property were being compromised. Thank you.
Mr. Mel, thank you. Thank you for the explanation and why it meant that to you, and I appreciate that. I don't 100% agree with it, but I appreciate that that's why you voted that way, and that no one's ever come forth to tell me that. And that's really what I was looking for. I'll say this, Mr. Geiger touched on it, and although I'm afforded my First Amendment rights and to say things, I will apologize for if it sounded a little harsh, and Bob, you too, I'm going to apologize to you for that posting. Even though I'm still very upset that we were denied the use twice. I mean, personally, I'm just upset at that. Lived here all my
I
life.
accept your apology, Mayor.
Okay, I'm just saying, I lived here all my life, Mr. Mel, I'm just saying, and that's never happened when we denied, like Mr. Arbor said, it's kind of like, that date was available to us, the only reason why it was posted, it takes a lot of notification on our part. That's why they probably jumped the gun. I did come before the board, myself, not the board, I'm sorry, Ken Janarone and your president and myself, and we kind of fell on our sword and apologized for advertising early, but just expressed to them the importance of trying to, why we have all the people together have the meeting. So I do appreciate your reasoning, and I understand why you would do that. And I accept that. And I just want to give you my apology to you, Mr. Angelini, because he actually has a very nice wife and a swell kid. I don't know if he was dropped on his head as an adult, Bob, I don't know. But Bob's not as nice as his child and his wife. Sometimes a little cantankerous,
I don't think most
but he's reasonable. He's
Plenty
a-
of time to get dropped on your head.
I just came up to clarify my position.
I appreciate it, thank
And that the board knows that it was of my own free will, not because anyone said to vote this way.
Okay.
It was my own free will that I voted no.
you. I accept that, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? That has-
Steve Village is taking over.
They got their tax
Dr.
credit.
Bob is a former member of the
He
Board of
lives in-
Education. As a former member of the Board of Education, I served on the board for 8.5 years, many, many years ago. And one of the things that I am most proud of when I was on the board was that we really opened up lines of communication, not only to the township, but to the fire district, Sword Authority. We've worked on a lot of joint projects together, and that has continued. And I'm sure that Mr. Long and Mr. Chair share my sentiment that we would hate for anything to get into the, to wreck that relationship. And it's very personal to me. This whole back and forth hurts me. Anything that I can do to smooth this over, I will more than welcome to do it. The Board of Education and the Township have always worked hand in hand, and they have for a lot of years. We do so for a lot of different reasons, mostly to save the taxpayers' money, and it's always been our attitude that it doesn't matter what pocket something comes out of, it's still taxpayer money. So anything that I can do, and I'm sure that former board member Mr. Long and Mr. Chair, and I'm sure the mayor and Donna share my sentiment that we will do anything to restore a good relationship.
Thank you, I'm sure you will. And Mr. Long knows that for the past almost 4 years, I've attended every board meeting.
Yes, you have.
So I'm well aware of the...
Yes, yeah, I just heard Charo just confirm.
I thought he was actually sleeping, because he's awake.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Paul Meyerowitz. I came from a community where the relationship between the Board of Education and Township Council was completely dysfunctional.
I worked in a lot of those towns.
For over 10 years, I watched the Township Council and the Board of Education talk about shared services, but very rarely do they oversee shared services. I moved to this township, and at least from the 80,000 foot level that I was at, I saw cooperation between the Board of Education and the Township Council. And I said, this is a community that I want to live in, where the residents of the township work together to make it a better place for the residents of the township. I still believe that the members of the Township Council and the members of the Board of Education adhere to that basic principle, that they're here to serve the people. My recommendation, and I would appreciate no comment from the Township Council or the Board of Education, but that in the future, when something like this occurs, you meet together to thrash it out. The place to thrash out the problems are not in the public view. At least, I don't believe they should be in the public view.
Amen.
I hope that this is the last we will hear about this problem. Problems will come up, but this is a problem that we didn't have to hear about. Mistakes will occur, errors will occur. I don't believe those will be intentional. At least I hope they won't be intentional. But each member of both organizations are elected to represent the people. And we would hope that in the future, the harmony that's existed in the past will continue to exist in the future, and the word dysfunctional will never occur again. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Paul. Well said. Anybody else wishing to be heard, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Barbara Hudson, Wayside. When you talk about the Board of Education and the, how about the election? I think it was true that you sent out a letter from Clayton. Was that appropriate? And Mr., what was his name? Had to send out a letter for Fitterer, who never showed up. I mean, what was going on there? Okay?
That's it, thank you. Anybody else? No? I want to thank you. Oh, Mr. Hudson, I almost gave our...
Just to set the record, Ben Hudson, Horace Drive, just to set the record straight, there was some discussion at the sewer authority meeting about the letter that the Service Bureau sent out about maintaining the sewer system at an annual monthly rate. The board, the TOSA board knows that there's some objection to that, and that they undertook to indicate that to the proposed vendor. I don't think they have any legal agreement with them, they just authorized them to use their mailing list for that purpose.
They have no contract with them, you said?
I don't believe that they do.
We're gonna call tomorrow anyway, Andrew and myself will
Yeah.
Yes, I think they do.
call, just find out and then express to them again about the letters going out.
Well, they know about that, and they did alert the vendor that they objected to the form of the letter.
Good, great.
I know that. Also, I would say, and I have said this a number of times before, the sewer authority is one of the better managed organizations in Ocean Township, or I mean in Monmouth County, if perhaps not the best one, and they're doing a very good job down there.
Good.
So
They are, we have a very, really strong board there.
yeah,
Good, thank you.
you do now.
Yes, took some doing, we did it. Anybody else wish to be heard, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. If not, I want to thank you all for coming, and our meetings are taped and aired twice a day at 10 o'clock a.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. on Channel 22 via Fios, 77 via Cablevision. Well, thank you all for coming. Good night. Oh, motion to make, close the meeting? Motion. Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo. Council members, Chair. Chair? Yes. Long? Yes. Capica?
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.